So, hello everybody, hope you're having a great day. This is a nice summer day here in Canada. Have a stream in the background here and a nice sunny day. And nice and secluded here in the valley with little noise from the road, which is not too far. And today was a nice day, headed down to the temple. Chief Monk had invited me to come to a dana. And so headed there, and then later on there's a kind of group of people who want some chanting done, and then want to talk for their kids going off to university. And this is the interesting thing, being around some of these kind of events, is that people tend to request monks to come and give talks at all these different stages in their life. You know, kind of when we're in the city, not so much the forest. People want you to be involved in what they're up to, and so when a new kind of baby is born, or a new house gets bought, or a new car gets bought, or kids are going to university, or somebody passes away, then they tend to come to the temple to see if monks can participate, see if monks can do some chanting or give a talk, give some reflections on the occasion. Many of these occasions might invite their friends and share food and make merit, these kind of things. And what this kind of speaks to, more or less, is the universality of the Dhamma. Basically, that it's something that's applicable at all these different stages in a person's life. You know? So basically there are these kind of principles or laws behind the Dhamma, you know, behind the Buddhist teachings. There's this kind of this word Dhamma can sometimes be translated as, you know, roughly translated as like duty, or kind of or law in ancient India. The dharma, like your dharma, was what you were supposed to do in part as part of your caste duties. Like you had these duties to fulfill as part of your caste. And if you were an artisan, you were supposed to do your artisan's duties. If you were a priest, you were supposed to do your priest duties. And then if you were a contemplative, then you'd have your contemplative duties. And so this dharma is the duties that the Buddha prescribes, kind of what he teaches to do. And this kind of teaching, these duties that are prescribed by the Buddha, they're things that are applicable at all these different stages of our life. And it's kind of the principles behind what make people happy and what make people sad. They're things that operate all the time. And these kind of the principles, the reasons for which the Buddha teaches, there are things that operate all the time too. So the thing that tends to underlie all of the Buddha's teachings is this teaching about impermanence. You know, that things arise and they pass away. You know, they arise according to causes and effects, and they pass away when those causes and effects are gone. And as a monk, you see this quite a lot, because when a baby's born, there's a you know. Then they arise, the baby's arisen, right? So it's people are very joyous, right? And the baby grows older, and they have birthdays or whatever it is. They come to the temple at various times. They get older, and then they go off to university, and then they kind of get married, and they might want to come for wedding blessings, these kind of things. They get a new house, and they want to have new house blessings, and then they have children of their own. They want blessings for those children. And then people grow old and they pass away. And then people want chanting and reflection done for them. And so at all these various phases in our life, the phases that people go through in their life, what's operating behind the scenes is this kind of principle of change, principle of impermanence. You know, what kind of arises according to causes and conditions changes when new causes and conditions get put into place. You know, kind of the causes and conditions in having a human body is that it continues to grow. You know, when there's a kind of baby, then it grows bigger and bigger, and then it becomes a teenager, then it becomes an adult, And then after 45, it maybe starts to grow smaller and smaller, and eventually passes away. You know? And so the Buddha's teachings behind all these things is that although there are these kind of things that are impermanent, you know, these various things in our life, you know, kind of people going off to college and university, people getting a new house, getting a new car, all these various things. Behind all of them, while we're engaged in all these things, we should actually have a higher purpose, you know? Because the thing about this flow of impermanence, it's like a kind of, you know, like a stream back there, you know, it kind of leads, and you go along with the flow, it kind of leads, you know, leads to some place, you know, sometimes leads over a cliff. But you never know where it's really going to lead you, you know? So just kind of going with whatever flow of conditions are, you know, maybe getting a lot of enjoyment, being in the stream, being in the lazy river, and you know, not having a way out. Sometimes, you know, that can turn into a pretty turbulent place. You know? So as long as times are good, when times are happy, when there's plentiful food, when there's good friends, good enjoyment, and lots of people have lots of money, they're in good health, then this kind of river seems like a nice place to be. But the tricky thing about these kind of rivers is they keep going on. They don't just stay static in the same place. A stream is never the same, you know, kind of same place. Different water is always kind of flowing through it. It's always being carried to new places. You know? So the Buddha's teachings to us is that despite this kind of impermanence, it's kind of like the current pulling the stream along, we want to take his duties, we want to take his dharma, and we want to become more deliberate about shaping our future destiny, you know, shaping our future intentions, our intentions right now and what will become in the future. So in this way, we learn to practice meditation, we learn to take on wholesome qualities of the mind, and we learn to do this deliberately, regardless of the situation, regardless of if a new baby's being born, a new thing comes into our life, a person leaves our life when they die, get a new house, get a new car, lose a house, lose a car, whatever it is. Behind all of these things, we have our duties in the Dhamma. And that is to cultivate these wholesome qualities of mind, cultivate giving, cultivate morality, and to cultivate meditation. And when we learn to practice in this way, cultivating these things, we become a bit more like, instead of just being a person who's being carried along by the stream, we become a bit more like a person who has a kind of an idea of a map, you know. We know sometimes we are going to be in the stream, be in the river, getting carried along, but we have an idea, okay, maybe there's a spot here where I should get out and hop up on the dry land and walk across to another stream to get to my destination. And the destination that the Buddha has in mind for us, that where his duties carry us, is to Nibbāna, you know, is to try to find a place of complete peace, complete happiness, you know. But along the way, there are these times when we go with the current, we go with the flow. You know, if we're not able to become monks and nuns yet, then we practice in a home life. You know, we learn to, although we're in the stream, we learn to watch out for the markers of when we should kind of shift lanes. Oh, I thought there was a hair in there. When we should try to maybe move to another stream. You know, when we should maybe get up off of the stream and walk for a bit to avoid some rapids, you know. So this is why we have his teachings. We learn to get up off the stream when we know there's kind of evil qualities coming ahead. You know, if there's kind of some evil thing that, some bad thing that would cultivate unwholesome qualities in our job, in our personal life, we learn to kind of look ahead and avoid that. You know, if we're in that, then we learn to get out and not just kind of keep going so that we could get capsized, you know. If there's a kind of opportunity, a branch in our life, you know, there's a point where we could go two different ways, you know, kind of one way or the other. What can guide our choice is whether this way that we're going to take, this new direction that we're going to take in our life, is it something that's going to bring us forward in the Dhamma, bring us forward in the duties the Buddha prescribed for us, bring us forward in our practice in gaining in wholesome qualities. And all this is because although the stream can be a pleasant place to be at sometimes, ultimately when we take the Buddha's teachings on, we know that it can get pretty rocky, you know. And that the nice lazy parts are never permanent, they're never sure, you know. So actually the Buddha's teachings to us in all of this is that although sometimes we might have to go, sometimes we're going to have to be in the stream paddling across. Sometimes we're going to have to learn to navigate its currents. Ultimately, our goal is to get to a destination, to get to Nibbāna. And this is crossing the stream. This is going across the flood of what's unwholesome, going across the flood of what they call the asavas, or outflows, these bad qualities in the mind. And going across the flood of what the Buddha calls the all, going across the flood of the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, the mind, to something that's unconditioned, that's beyond all these things. Yeah? And so when we get there, if this is a place that we're paddling to, we plan our life in this way, eventually what we have our eye on is the island. And this is the Buddha's metaphor for Nibbāna. We have our eye on paddling across here for the sake of finding this island, for the sake of eventually getting up off a stream to this place of safety, so we can stand firm on dry ground and not have to worry about being pulled away on these currents anymore. A place where the currents don't pull us, where we're standing still, we're standing at ease, no matter what. And so these are some of the things that we can do, that we can learn from the Buddha's teachings, regardless of the course that our life is taking, regardless of how the directions that our stream flows. Although the waters in the stream, they're kind of impermanent. This impermanence pulls us along. So long as we keep the Buddha's teachings in mind, we keep in mind how can we develop in wholesome qualities, how can we develop in morality, how can we develop in meditation, then we use the stream to guide us. We use the stream to guide us towards this island that we're seeking. We use the stream to guide us towards higher states of peace in our meditation. We use the stream to guide us towards higher insights into reality, towards letting insights into impermanence, insights into things that let us go, help us to let go of defilements, help us to cut these wholesome qualities, ultimately to try to cut them permanently. Because what the Buddha teaches us is that at the end of the path, no matter how much difficulty we have paddling along the stream, avoiding the rapids, getting up, jumping into other streams, and paddling on, irrespective of whatever difficulty we went through, when we get to that island, that's something that we don't grieve over. None of the difficulties compare to the benefits of that, to the benefits of having ended suffering. So this is something that we can all do. This is that we can all strive for. This is the Buddha's Dharma. This is his law to us. It's teaching to us. Regardless of the phase of life we're at, regardless of where this current pulls us, we can set our beacon, we can set our compass on this island, on a permanent place of safety. Okay, so I think I'll leave that for your reflection, and hope everybody has a great day.